knowledge, not just based on what they read in the newspaper necessarily, but to actually hear them, hear and press the flesh. And we want Fraser to meet with, we've got Senator Anning here, we've got Clem Wheatley, who's the state president of the Shooters, we've got Ian Nelson, who's the national president of the Great Australia Party. So we've got some heavy hitters here. We want them all to get together, we meet each other, have a snag and realise, you know what guys, we're all on the same team.
And you don't have your own members running for Parliament?
No.
Why is that?
Well, none of them want to. I'm not aware of any. I don't in the southern states. I don't know, but no, none of our members are running.
And how many members do you have?
Well, look, I don't know. To tell you honest, you'd have to check with our membership guy. But we've got branches all over the state. There's a branch up at Toowoomba, which I think has just come down here today. We've got branches on the Sunshine Coast, Brisbane. I'm from Gatton, so we don't have a branch here. We probably will have after this.
Right.
So, look, it's just a grassroots movement of people saying we've had a gutful, and we don't want to see our, I guess what you'd call our fellow Conservatives who are representing political parties not working together. You know, I mean, as I will be saying later, when we've just had Anzac Day and we all commemorate the wonderful things that they fought for. But, you know, the Aussies and the Kiwis didn't fight with each other in the bloody trenches. They fought the Turks, you know, and we want Conservatives to do the same thing. Fight the enemy out there, which is outside our ranks, Labor and Greens, and work together. Preference each other, work together. Don't try to score points off each other. You know, work together as a team, because ultimately we all have the same goal. You know, we don't want to see personalities and egos disrupt what should be a democratic process. You know, I don't like you, so I'm not going to preference your party. I mean, that's just rubbish. We want people to do what's right for Australia. If that means swallow your pride and preference somebody who, you know, whose party is the same as yours, but you might not like the person running that party, we just think that's unacceptable. It's not about individuals, it's about the greater good. You know, we're sick of egos in politics. We want people to do what's right for change.
And I think you said, you told Anning that the gentleman on Friday who got charged wasn't a member of the Treaty.
Correct. I just had somebody go and check that, but no.
Right.
But, you know, isn't it interesting? You know, we've got Tanya Plibersek, the deputy leader of the Labor Party. Her husband is a convicted heroin trafficker. Where is anybody asking Bill Shorten, do you support heroin traffickers and do you want them in your party? We see union leaders jailed for corruption, for bullying, for theft, for corruption. I don't see anybody going to Bill Shorten and say, do you accept that all these people are good and you welcome them in your party? No, we don't see any of that. But, you know, one guy, you know, gets a bit hot-headed and takes a swing at a reporter and suddenly, well, Fraser Anning, is he accepted in your party?
Well, what's
the correlation?
The Fraser Anning press conference. And to be fair, I think people do scrutinise Shorten and his union connections.
I've never heard them ask, do you accept these union criminals that have been jailed and convicted? Are you happy to have them in your party? Do you accept them? Do you condone what they're doing? He doesn't get asked the hard questions. Yeah, we've got the Greens there. You know, we have people. You know, we had that rally in Brisbane the other day where they would chain themselves to cars. You know, what was that for?
Adani.
The Adani. Now, you know, why doesn't somebody ask the Premier, the Labor Premier, and Bill Shorten, the Labor leader federally, do you support people chaining themselves to cars and disrupting people going about their lawful business and interfering with traffic? Do you support that? Are you happy to have them as members? Are each and every one of those people in your party? They wouldn't have a clue. So, you know, but you ask these hard questions of Fraser and he's answered you up front. He said, well, I don't know the guy. What more can he say? You know, so I just think that I'd like to see the hard questions applied to all, not just those who are on the wrong side of the spectrum. Has anybody ever asked Plibersek, is she quite happy having a husband who's a convicted heroin trafficker, let out of jail early, then heads up to senior position in New South Wales education with no qualifications? Well, that's a hard question, should be asked. It never gets asked. Why not?
Well, I think that issue's been covered before.
Oh, behind closed doors on social media. She's never been asked. I've never seen it.
I've seen it canvassed a few years ago.
Was she asked up front?
Oh, I can't recall the exact question.
She hasn't. Well, why has it come up again and again?
Why?
Well, every time Fraser's been interviewed
well,
since the other day, they keep asking.
It's a current. I'm not sure the exact circumstances of Tanya's partner, but he presumably went to jail.
Yeah, I think he got. I believe. I may be wrong, but I believe he got sentenced. He was convicted heroin trafficking, 8 years jail, let it after 2, and went straight on to senior public.
But this is more of a contemporary
Well, he's still there now on a
Friday.
$385,000 taxpayer salary,
Right,
convicted
okay.
heroin trafficker. Now, I think that's a serious issue in the Labor Party. What sort of people do they have in their ranks?
Maybe they believe in rehabilitation.
Well, maybe they do, but you know, I'm sure there's a lot of people who've got out of jail for far lesser things that would love to be rehabilitated that way.
No problem.
I wouldn't mind being rehabilitated for 380 grand a year
Well,
myself.
you know,
Yeah.
always
There's
avenues.
people who are done for pot who have 10-year records and can't get jobs.
Yes, I know.
And then a drug trafficker gets out, and then he's got a, like you say, $380,000 taxpayer salary. I think that's a bit rich.
It is. And I know people who have done nearly 3 years in jail for having a bit of pot on them in a park. Hey, no problem. You break the law, you pay the price. But you know, you can't get out of jail with a bracelet on, the whole bloody lot. I don't have a problem with that. But I see people who've done far worse things, and they just, you know. I mean, we had a police officer this week convicted of stealing weapons from the confiscated. How much jail term did he? Not one moment. He got sentenced to found guilty, 2 years jail, instant parole. Now, that's a serious firearms offence. Assault weapons, handguns.
Maybe
Not a day jail.
Or maybe if you get your candidate in, you can broach these.
I don't
issues.
have a candidate.
Well, the ones you support.
Jim, Martin Hart with The Unshackled. Do you think that the mainstream media feeds upon and perhaps desires there to be confrontations surrounding Senator Fraser Anning to create controversy that they can then capitalise on?
Well, I don't know whether they create it, but they certainly pounce upon if something happens, if there's an instance there. I mean, you know, I've been to rallies put on by the unions in Brisbane, and there are fights and scuffles all over the back streets. They don't make the main news, and I don't see the union is asked repeatedly every day for the next week whether they support those people. So, yeah, it definitely is. I think that our left-wing media, and I don't say all media in this regards, but a lot of the media, who are left-wing, we all know that, will promote anything that's anti-Australian and anti our traditional values. And if it's anti-Christian, so much the better. And if it's done by a white heterosexual male who happens to be Christian, well, he's the greatest villain on the planet. You know, I just think we need to have some balance here. You know, the majority of people are treated as if they're a minority, and the minority are treated as if they're the majority. I just think it's time it's got to stop, and hence groups like the True Blue Crew arise out of nothing, and they're saying, well, look, you know, we want to promote anybody who's prepared to have a go, and that's what we're here for.
Jim, do you think that the failure of the Fourth Estate to uphold fair and balanced reporting has played a factor in some of the local recent altercations between citizens and the media?
Look, absolutely. If you ask any person here, I'm sure 99% of them will say exactly the same thing. Yes. Yeah. I mean, we saw an incident on Q&A last week where they had the Greens, Senator Roberts from One Nation, the Labor Party and the Liberal Party. 3 sitting senators and a wannabe senator candidate. One of the questions was asked was about Adani and coal. Now, the Greens answered it, Labor answered it, the Liberal Party answered it. The One Nation candidate actually is a former coal mine manager, has extensive experience on coal. He wasn't allowed to answer the question because, you know what, he knew what he was talking about, and the host just said, no, you cannot answer. And people watching that are absolutely outraged, and that's what makes them get angry, you know. They've had a gutful. They just want fair reporting. They don't want to be given an extra leg up, but they want fair reporting, which is Malcolm Turnbull. Which Prime Minister we got now? Scott Morrison. He says a fair go, a fair go. He keeps saying, yeah, well, you know what? We want a fair go. And so do all these people here, and that's why they're here now, because they want a fair go and they want to be heard. Well, mate, you'll get plenty of sunshine off that bald head, so you'll be pretty right, yeah.